Hello, it is Cyclone C52 here. Today I am going to be teaching you how to beat the Asylum Demon in Dark Souls. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make a character. Now I like to give him a simple name. I like to just hit a couple characters on the keyboard and we'll just go with whatever that is. I like to go male because I am male. We have a lot in common. I think the best class for this is Bandit, and I will explain why later. Now, when it comes to body type, I'm more of I'm not really a big fan of these options in particular, or either of these. I'm not, I just don't really, I don't really see the value that they give, so I'm more of a very large guy. When it comes to face, I really like Eerie Great Swamp and Far East Traveler, but for the purposes of this, we'll just go with the classic Jubilant Katarina. I think Bobbed is going to work best for our purposes here today, and we'll probably finish that off with a nice gray. Now, you can just go with the presets if you are looking to beat the Asylum Demon, but for me personally, I think beating the Asylum Demon is a lot easier when you put a little extra work into making the character truly look natural and human. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. So I think this is pretty close to what we want to beat the Asylum Demon, but I think we just need like one more thing. Probably like this. Yeah, there you go. See, now that's a serious gentleman. He perfect for beating the Asylum Demon. All right, and we are good to go. Now, so the first thing you're gonna want to know about the Asylum Demon is that it's gonna be you can just skip the cutscenes. Lore isn't real. Like, I mean, you see the loading screens, they have all this text. I don't think any of it's like real. I'm pretty sure they just like paid a guy to write that stuff. Anyway, so you can see here that you start with a broken sword hilt. Now this is all you get, right? The game doesn't give you anything else. So if you want to beat the Asylum Demon, you should be very accustomed to this weapon. Now something you're going to want to know, two-handing the weapon is going to be doing more damage. Additionally, using heavy attacks will deal more damage. So if we're looking to do good here, we're going to want to make sure to be using two-handed. Heavy attacks as well. So if you look right up there, that's our lad. I like to give him a little point. It'll make the second half of the fight easier. So right here, he's going to be dropping down. Now, the main strategy for this fight is you want to be hitting him in the butt, because he doesn't have, so like most creatures, the Asylum Demon does not have an eye on his butt, which means that he actually can't see you if you're back here, if you can believe that. But now he does know you're back here because he can smell. I think he might have a nose back there, but I haven't done the anatomical research on that one. So anyway, so as you can see, they give you a health bar on the enemies in this game. And if you look at the health bar, you can see it goes down when you stab the guy with your sword. Now this is a common trope in games. If you're a reviewer and you're using this technique to help you beat this first boss, you might want to keep that in mind when you're giving the review. That they have the health bar trope here. I mean, my character also has a health bar. You can see at the top left. Now, anyway, so every time we hit him with our sword, very common, it deals damage. Now, unfortunately, our weapon is broken, so I mean, you can get it fixed later. I'm under the impression, I haven't gotten there myself, but I'm under the impression that if you beat this guy, some point later in the game, you get to repair the sword hilt. It probably, like you ever play zombies in Call of Duty? You know how when you upgrade the starting pistols, they become really cool? It's probably like that, where if you upgrade the sword hilt, it becomes really cool later on. I haven't gotten there myself. I've actually just beaten the Asylum Demon. I haven't played any of the other games, but I figured out this strategy. It took me a while, but if you just stick to it, you too can get past the Asylum Demon and get to upgrade the sword hilt, I assume. Now you want to be careful. Sometimes he likes rotating instead of attacking, so when he does that, you really want, and you want to watch out for. So okay, so basically, we're just sitting here stabbing him with the sword hilt. You can see his health bar going down, and eventually, so when his health gets to the bottom, he actually dies. If you can believe that, like he'll stop living, and it's very important that he stops living for the purposes here. So you see, So when he notices that we're back here, you know, he might be able to smell us or something. As I established, we're not too sure. The researchers are out on this one, but he will do things when we are back here, and those things happen to be, I mean, you can see them here. He likes to swing his telephone pole there. He likes to swing it when we're back here, and that, if it collides with you because of the physics of it, it actually hurts. And in my research, your character can only get hurt a couple times, because they took a realistic aspect on that one, to where your character dies if they're hit a certain amount of times. But as far as I'm sure or aware, I think that a force of the magnitude that he is swinging with probably wouldn't be able to get hit multiple times, but I have found that you actually can get hit multiple times. So earlier I mentioned that we picked the Barbarian for a specific purpose. At least I think it was the Barbarian. I don't know. I kind of forgot. Anyway, we picked the character with the highest strength, which is 14, because we want this sword to deal as much damage as possible. That's not good. So, Mr. Asylum Demon here has a couple different attacks that you need to be wary of. Most of them he will only do when you're in front of him. Like, he has like a multi-hit combo. He has a that one you just saw where he stabs the ground. He has like a jump lunge attack. Now when you're behind him, he can only do 3 things. One of them is if you're on his left ass cheek, he will do that one swing where he rotates. If you're on his right ass cheek, he will do a different swing, which I'll show you there. That he moves a lot more, so I don't like doing that one as much. I like that left ass cheek swing. He can also fly up like that, which is, I mean, it just means you have to get away from him for a second, which is like whatever. And then he can fly up in the air, and if he flies up in the air, it does a little AoE. The AoE damage on it is actually invisible, but you can basically just like guess. You can basically just guess that it's like in a small ring around him, and so you just step back. Oh, there's some debris floating there. That's not very realistic. We were just talking about realism earlier. Yeah, and then he has a 4th thing he could do when you're behind him, which is he jumps. And he'll only jump if there's not a wall behind him, so he usually just won't do it. Oops, that's not good. I seem to have received some damage, but as you can see, it didn't hurt that bad. Anyway, yeah, so he has a jump back that he'll only really do if he's not, like if he doesn't think that he will jump into a wall. So like right here, he probably won't do it because he thinks he'll jump into this wall behind him. I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like if he like touches the wall, it's gonna hurt or something. I don't know why he's such a baby about it, but he is. So, you know, it's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, as long as you sit behind him and you you know, don't let him get in front of you, which I did there for you know, research purposes, you'll be fine. And then you just have to whack him a couple times, you know. So, as previously mentioned, I haven't gotten past this part in the game myself, but as you guys know, there is a website out there. You might have heard of it. It's called Vimeo, where you can watch other people's content. Like they'll okay, I'll explain. This might be weird if you haven't heard of it before, but okay, so basically people upload like videos, right? And the videos like teach you how to do things, or they could be like movies or something. Like I personally watched. There's another website called Dailymotion that I watched. Interstellar 555. I don't know if there's 3 or 4 5s. Anyway, I watched it on that. Anyway, and so I watched someone play Dark Souls. This game, actually, is called Dark Souls. It was the same game, if you can believe that. Anyway, I was watching them, and so they come back to this location in the game later on, and there's actually another boss underneath this arena, and he's actually, he's called the Straight Demon, and he actually is the exact same guy as this guy, but he's, like, different, because he has, like, all of his moves have explosions on them. Not to be confused with another boss called the Great Fire Sage, or Sage. So So try not to get confused there. Anyway, the point is that so right below our feet, as we speak, you can see that little divot in the ground right there. That little divot caves in, and there's a boss down there. And he actually, I think he's like a slightly different color. You know, like in Pokemon, right? If you ever played one of the Pokemon games, sometimes the Pokemon will be the Pokemon that you already know, and it will be like the same Pokemon, but like the color will be different. I don't know. There's like a term for it. I believe it's I might. I think it's called like a color or something. Like a color Pokemon will have a different color than the normal Pokemon, right? That's why they're called color Pokemons. Anyway, so the Pokemon have different colors, and they're called color Pokemon. So anyway, the point is that that's like how the Stray Demon is, where he is like this demon, but he's a different color, I think. And, anyway, so I think they're supposed to be like two separate entities, even though they basically look like the same dude. And I wonder if they're like the same dude, you know, because they look like the same dude, or because they're like different colors. You know, because like with the different colored Pokemon, I'm pretty sure they're not the same guy, right? I'm pretty sure it's like a different guy who just like looks the same. And like, well, I mean, you know, if you ever watch like the Pokemon show, you know how the Pokemon like say their names? So I assume the Pokemon like have the same name. So maybe they are the same guy, but like maybe he just got like a spray painted or something. Anyway, so for the Stray Demon, you know, actually now that I say that, maybe after you beat the Asylum Demon, you know, you don't see him die. He just like turns to light, and he like vanishes. So maybe he just has like an invisibility spell, and after he realizes that you've stabbed him with the broken sword enough that he doesn't feel like fighting anymore, and so he just uses his invisibility spell and hands you a key, and he gives you his light post. Doesn't give you any light bulbs with it though, so it's so kind of mean of him. But yeah, he gives you his stuff and he leaves, right? And so then he goes to his home, which is down there, because it'd be weird if he just lived up there. You know, because like there's no shelter. I mean, there is a room up there. I don't think I'll be showing you it in this tutorial, but there's a room up there with some dudes in it. So like, I'm pretty sure they live there, so he probably doesn't share a room with them. Oh dang. It would be quite unfortunate if I lost this. It would be a bad showing, but it'll probably be fine. Anyway, so he probably just is like the same dude in like colors himself, is what I was thinking. But what I was originally gonna say before I thought of that was like, you know, if they are like not the same dude, you know, it's like different from Pokemon and they're not the same dude, I wonder if they like get along, you know, because like, I don't know, you ever hear that skinwalker thing that the kids are talking about, like the guy who looks like you? I wonder, like I mean, would you get along with him? Probably not, right? Because you'd be like, hey, identity theft's a crime, man, you can't do that to me. And they'd be like, oh, sorry, man, I thought you know, I thought this was like a free identity. You'd be like, nope, I live in America, so it's not free. And maybe they pay you for it or something. I don't know. I haven't read the stories myself. Anyway, so for like the Stray Demon, you know, I wonder if the Stray Demon is like, hey, Asylum Demon, you're stealing, you know, you're stealing my ID. And the Asylum Demon's actually like, you know, my name is not Stray Demon, it's Asylum Demon. So actually, this is a completely different identity. You know, this is my original identity, or OID for short, I assume, is what he would say. You know, it's just one of those things. You never know. So you see I did a little roll there. That's what we call fear in the business, you know. I have beaten the boss once before, but it's a little scary. I mean, you're sitting back here looking at his Demussy. It's spooky, you know. Like personally, I'm a virgin. I've never been in a real Ussy myself, so Demussy got me feeling unwise. You know what I'm saying? That you don't need to write that part down. But like you see the way it like his ass cheeks jiggle, you know, like can you blame him, man? So as we're getting near the end of the fight, you know, we'll see if I can take down, or sorry, if I can get the demon to use his invisibility spell. Although when you fight the demon later, I'm pretty sure he's using the same hammer. So how is it that when he uses his invisibility spell, he can leave you his hammer, if when he is the stray demon, he has the same hammer? I think. I mean, I watched the Daily Motion video, you know, like when the game came out. It's been a bit. So it's possible I might be, you know, like human memory isn't perfect, right? That was greedy. That's what we in the business call a little whoopsies. Fear is guiding some of my motions right now, but not fear of failure. You know, I failed at this boss many times, potentially. I don't really. I mean, to be frank with you, I don't really remember. You know, like I have a, you know, I have a job, I have stuff to do, lot of work to be done in this world. It's hard to remember every single detail. You know what I mean? So I probably lost to this guy a lot. It's tough to remember. So, as we're nearing the end of the fight, I just want you to remember that, you know, if I can do it, you can do it too, right? And it's really not hard, you know, like it's pretty hard to get hit. You have to be, like, pretty sloppy to take damage, you know? Like, as long as you keep him facing a wall, he'll never jump, you know? Like, you know, if he's, like, starting to turn away from the wall, try to swap ass cheeks to the one that will get him to face towards the wall again. You know, if he jumps, try to get him at an angle like that. It's all very simple stuff. You know, like anybody can do it. It's not hard. But yeah, so that's how you beat him. And then once you beat him, they let you come into this room, which is nice. I don't really know what that thing's for. But yeah, then you get your stuff. So you know how when you started, it told you you would get your stuff, and you're like, oh, I can use this to fight that guy. You actually don't get it until after you fight him. So that was kind of that's one of the things that surprised me when I played this game for the first time. But yeah, so now we have our stuff. So you can see this guy, he's like about as strong as this Asylum Demon, but you see we just one-shot him now. Whereas before it took like, you know, a couple hits to kill the Asylum Demon compared to that. So we're going to come in here. There's a dude in there, so we have to free him, like right there. You see he's free now. So he's up for a chat. We just talked to him. He says things. Now, as I said before, they basically got, like, you hear those new artificial intelligence things going around. I think they got one of those things to write the dialogue. It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, I understand. Like, games are expensive, you know. Like, developers, they're working hard. Like, it's tough. It's tough, you know. Like, I don't blame them for not wanting to make, you know, like AI, everyone has an opinion about it, but I think for a game like this where gameplay is the most important aspect, it's okay to just, you know, skimp out a little bit. I mean, there is that writer's strike going on right now, so maybe, you know, it's not the best time to have that opinion. But like, if you're writing something good, obviously you should get a writer. You shouldn't try to skimp out on it. Like, if you're writing something people have to care about. But in, like, a video game like this, where the gameplay is all that matters, you know, I think it's okay to have an AI write the text. Like, look at this. Look at this text. GPT is written all over this. And that's okay. You know, I can accept that. So, yeah. So, I haven't played past this point, personally, but I don't think it really, you know, it's probably not that much longer than that fight. So, that's the end of my guide. If you liked it, I didn't ask you to tell me, so please don't tell me. Goodbye.